I am very impressed by the amount of intellectual firepower you have here. You guys are really lucky to be in a position to study in this kind of a context where your gifts are taken and nurtured and given all of the space that they can to grow. We cannot have an enlightened democracy with one great group living in ignorance. We cannot have a healthy nation with 1/10 of the people ill-nourished, sick, harboring germs of disease which recognize no color lines, obey no Jim Crow laws. We cannot have a nation orderly and sound with one group so ground down and thwarted that it is almost forced into unsocial attitudes and crime. We cannot be truly Christian people so long as we flout the central teachings of Jesus, brotherly love and the golden rule. True friendship recognizes equality among all people. And if you believe in a system, the system of Jim Crow, that does not acknowledge equality between people, you have to teach that. Often, as we move through life, the questions of equality that face us come up because we think we have something to protect. We think that we can only protect our privilege by denying someone else their rights. But I think that, I think it's very healthy, actually, that over the years we've learned that Reverend King was not a perfect man, that he had, any number of personal issues, fidelity, etc. Because you don't have to be perfect in order to be a champion of equality. You don't have to be perfect in order to recognize that equality is a process that we all engage in every day in every way. He was a man with great talent. He was a man with an incredible gift for words. He was a man of apparent ability to analyze the structures of inequality from the time he was a child. But he was not a perfect man. But what he decided to do was to use what powers he had, including the powers of oratory, which I'm sure many of you are using here, in order to make change in the world. And waves of immigrants throughout centuries have come bearing the gifts of their culture and taught us to embrace aspects of what it means to live in a global society. And I think that this room very much is an example of that. And so a place like the Hill School is a learning laboratory for the engagement of American life in a global sphere. The people you meet here are people who, you will probably know for the rest of your life. And that is an incredible privilege, to be in a group of people who are thinkers, doers, artists, athletes, people who have diverse backgrounds, people who you can grow with. A lot of people have looked at race over the past, couple decades, past decade. Oh, we have a black president now, and there's Oprah, and there's, person X, Y, and Z. Isn't the battle over? But there's always going to be people who do exceptionally well, but that does not mean the playing field is level. The thing that really holds the most promise, as well as the most peril, is our economy. Because all of you are facing, not quite yet, but over the next few years, entering a very complicated job market in which it could be easy to say, my advancement depends on your dismissal or you're not achieving. And a lot of the questions of equality, often where we have a deep spring of goodwill, but when we come down to these questions of who's going to get a job or who's going to advance in the workplace, all of our good manners kind of go out the window because we get afraid. We have to have faith that we can all participate in the process of building a functional America. We cannot give up because things are tough. We cannot give up on the promise of equality. Equality is a discipline. And fear, I think, is the thing that most undermines the discipline. Fear of failure, fear of being left out of the herd, fear that by acting in the interest of the group that we are acting against our own interests. As I think about where we are today, facing a lot of economic uncertainty, I think that we have a huge opportunity to kind of re-engineer, to look at what a good life means when a good life includes a sense of equality for all. And I think that each of us, no matter how privileged someone seems, no matter what your race or gender and the income you come from, all of us experience inequality. All of us at some point will experience something that is completely and patently unfair. The question is, what do you do with that energy? Sometimes that's all we can ask of ourselves, is to take whatever experiences we have, to harness that energy, and to turn it into something more beautiful than anyone could have ever dreamed. So that is my dream. I wish you the best in your leadership. It's not always easy to be a leader. All of you are, and you are people who are privileged to be not only leaders, but to be among a group of leaders who you can grow with. So I really encourage you finally to enjoy that journey of getting to know the people that you're sitting with and you're learning with as your friendships deepen over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and more, and to rely on each other in tough times. Thank you.